mystery and horror, the air itself is filled with monsters.
Children of the night, what music they make. He's alive! He's alive!
Well, hello, all you monster fiends, and thank you for joining us for another deep dive, factoid-filled episode exploring Hollywood's most famous monsters. I am your mistress of ceremonies, Sam, and I am joined, as always, by Dan from Bleeding Marvelous. Say hello, Dan.
That ain't no cactus. Just so we're clear, that ain't no cactus. All right.
All right. All right. I'm trying to stop myself from laughing. It's going to be okay. I can do this. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Monsters Up North podcast. Dan threw a funny before we came online, and I can't stop laughing now, so apologies in advance. But anyways, welcome to a new episode. This week, creepy crawly, eight-legged creepy crawlies who talk and communicate, and oh, and that's brilliant. We're doing eight-legged freaks. Dan's choice.
I don't
actually
get it.
It's not, no, because Dan throws a thing out. Dan throws a name out, and I just go, yes, 100% yes. I was all over this film.
But there's part of this film that my brain had completely forgotten about.
Yeah. One being that Scarlett Johansson was in it.
Yes. And also the guy that I can't stand from The Resident that has a face like a smashed cracker. You know, Chad, Brad, Brett, the boyfriend. Yeah, him.
Yes. We'll get into him. Oh, ugh. Right. So, I'll do the disclaimer and then we'll crack on open. So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on our socials. Or you can join us in the comment section where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong, because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Do not be a dick. Thank you. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Cheers. Right. I'm going to try and do this, because I've once again given myself names that I cannot pronounce.
I believe in you.
Thank you. Eight-Legged Freaks is the 2002 monster comedy horror directed by Elroy Elcom.
That'll do.
Champion. Starring David Arquette, Carrie Werner, Scott Terra, Doug E. Doug, and Scarlett Johansson. The plot follows spiders that are exposed to a mutagenic toxic waste, causing them to grow to colossal sizes and attack a small mining town in America. Do you hate spiders? Do you really hate spiders? Well, they don't like you either. Monsters Up North opens the monster file number 88 with Eight-Legged Freaks.
You brought out the guns for the audio listeners then. We got the finger guns.
The finger guns so came out.
She means business.
That tagline had me decked for about 10 minutes. Do you hate spiders? Do you really hate spiders? Well, they don't like you either.
Loads of spiders standing there with little picket signs going, "We don't like you. We
hate you." I don't know why they had to have a southern accent. We hate you. No.
Oh, God. They all sound like Kevin and Perry.
Oh, my God.
God, it's so fair.
Oh, Dawn, you're going to bring out the man going, all right, okay. Shit, man. What has tonight turned into? It's just...
a magical affair.
Oh, it is definitely something. Eight-Legged Freaks, I was all over this back when it came out. It was so B-movie. I was like, do they mean to be like this? Was it meant to be like this?
With the budget? No. But the writers, yes. I think the writers had the old Attack of the 50-Foot Woman you know, the Blob, all those movies in mind when they wrote this. And I mean, with today's eyes, they're not, you know, B movie isn't something some of those would be classed as, but some of them would be. But you know, I think they had that in mind. But I think it was Village that had this and distributed through Warner Brothers, or Warner Brothers paid for it. Village distributed it way round.
Something along those lines.
Village Roadshow, I think it is. But yeah, it had a budget of $30 million because of the level of CGI and CG they had going on in this.
That's a lot.
Yeah, this, because when I saw that, I went, "Are you fucking kidding me? Where the fuck did they spend that money?" You know, you have that moment where you're like,
David Arquette's facial expressions.
Yeah, that's what cost them. Yeah.
Just to get him to do a new one.
The CG, right, we'll go into the CGI later. Obviously, of its time, but
but yeah, we'll talk about it in a bit, because I didn't on rewatch. Yes, it was very, you could tell, like you could, like, it doesn't look the best, but I'm like, I don't think it needs to look the best. Like, I'm actually okay with this. I don't know why.
Yeah, and if you're looking at it with the eyes of a B movie, it doesn't have to look real. That's not that's not the goal. It's supposed to look ridiculous. But we're talking 12 years before that, 1990, Arachnophobia came out. And Arachnophobia tended to use real spiders where as possible. Now, I understand animal cruelty laws, all that sort of stuff, things change.
Yeah.
I get it, you know, but 12 years before, they pulled something off that I feel like maybe, I mean, they could have used footage of real spiders and scaled it up. I don't know. I feel like
I think you could be onto something, because I remember reading about arachnophobia. I love that. Right. I recently did Countdown to Doomsday, and we did Ant-Man, and it was very much established through that episode. I don't like ants. I am very much scared of ants.
She married one, but she doesn't like them.
The idea of they just make me so itchy. But spiders don't. I am not scared of spiders. I actually have full-on conversations with them in the house if I see them walking past. I'm like, listen, you've got one or two choices going on right now. You got death with my cats, or I can take you to a safe place. I literally do have a safe place with spiders. I am a very much, we're in no-kill zone in our house. And, well, I say that when my cats get a hold of them, I've got that's out of my hands. But I've told Dan me stories of me spider days when I used to talk to them. But I'm not going to get into that now. I have shared far too much of myself on this podcast to actually hold any more credibility, so I'm just going to stop right there. But the idea of this came from a short film, 1997 short film called Larger Than Life, and I could not help for about a few minutes afterwards sing Backstreet Boys in my head. It's not though. It's we do it.
Doing the dance in my head.
It's just about spiders.
Life. You've lost me now. I'm off. See you later. Bye.
I'm not gonna lie. We have literally, for the past half an hour, probably just sat and laughed before we came on.
It's all right though. We're not at points.
Oh,
all right. That's good.
Yeah. I do know. Yeah, but sorry. We're meant to be professionals here.
What's that? I've never heard of such a thing. That's a social construct. I'm not having it.
Yeah, we're going to do a bloody B movie. You got to have a laugh about it, otherwise you're going to take it seriously, and you know, it's just gonna turn into a shit conversation. The original title of the film was called Iraq Attack, which
God, they changed it.
It's said twice in the film, by the way. When the kid goes, Iraq Attack.
And when Josh has the conversation with him at the beginning, when he's at the spider farm. Now, you might look at Josh and think, I recognise Josh. Where do I recognise Josh from? Josh is Tom Noonan. Tom Noonan played Frankenstein's monster in none other than the Monster Squad. Way bogus.
Oh, that was amazing. I thought he did look familiar. And then, but then I could have just kept thinking, why is this old man spending his time
with a small child.
Yeah.
Well, we don't question these things.
No. No.
I
mean, his mother did, thank Christ. At least his mother had some sense about her.
There were simple Jack vibes there. So I
Yeah.
don't know, but he did mention, which was the weird thing at the beginning. He mentions to a child, bearing in mind, I'm not sure how old he's supposed to be, 12, 13, maybe, at push.
I don't know children.
I don't know children. Yeah. And yeah, crotch couplings, blah. He says to him, oh, you don't know how many senators and bordermen and police people I've had to bribe to get these in here. And I'm like, he's like 12. He's not
And
going to
also,
what?
they're spiders. Calm
They're all
down.
very exotic and very illegal and very poisonous and very something.
I do actually have all the spiders listed
I'm
down
glad
somewhere
you
of what
did.
was used. But they did change the name from Iraq Attack because of the very sad tragic 9/11. And they were like, oh, that's a bit, no, let's not use the word attack because it sounded like Iraq attack. So they changed it. It was actually David Arquette because he did ad-lib the line, "Get it back, you eight-legged freaks," and he just went, "Eight-legged freaks." That's it. That's exactly what we're going to call this movie, and it goes because this is just pure B movie-esque. Like there is one scene in it. I mean, they use a mall for Christ's sakes. Like you couldn't get any more B movie than a mall for to go and hide out in. But it's this, there's a shot of the mayor. Is it the mayor?
The guy with the ponytail, yeah.
Yeah, Dougie Doug. That's him.
Oh, you're talking about Dougie Doug. Dougie Doug is the radio presenter.
No, then I'm not talking about him. I am talking about the guy with the ponytail.
The guy with the ponytail is Leon Rippey.
That's it. So when he gets out the car and he's like looking around and he's like, if they build it, they will come.
Field of Dreams quote, yeah.
And then all the cars start coming in. And then he goes, oh, what are you all doing here? And then he goes, and then they're like, look out over there. And he shows you the street. That is so a B movie shot. That looks like streets have just been inserted into a place. Like it just looks, I think that shot is absolutely fantastic. But I have such a love for B movies. I just think people put a lot of care into them, even if they don't come out the way that you as a moviegoer would intend them to.
I think the thing about this film was before they even went into filming, and filming only took like 40 days.
40 days, yeah.
Yeah. Before they went into filming, there was still there's a period before filming with any movie. If you're not privy to this, if you are, zone out, but before filming you have pre-production. Pre-production is usually where they sit down and do table reads. So they go through the script from start to finish. All the characters are there. They workshop about the accents, how their relationships are with each other, that sort of thing. They do all their backwork there. You also in pre-production do your costuming. You do your there's quite a few things that need to be done in pre-production. However, there were 7 months of pre-production on this, which is
exceedingly long.
Yeah, I mean, usually you get maybe 4 to 6 if you're lucky, depending on how much work there is in the film to be done. But you got 7 months because of the CGI section of it. They had to animate all the spiders prior to the movie. They had to get them as ready as they could for the movie so that when they were doing the dailies they could show them the mock-ups that they had so that the actors could then work against this, because we're not talking tentacle on a stick stuff that we see now. This is so new to these actors acting with things that aren't there. We're talking no green screen, you're talking literally nothing, and it's inserted into the thing. There is nothing there for them to react to, not one thing. So every reaction you see is so ungenuine. There's nothing there.
But you can. I love the fact that because that's a lot of hard work going into ones to act against something that isn't there. Because you're right, we wouldn't do that now. You would have people playing the spiders and having motion captures all over them, and oh, it's crazy. Did you know there was a video game?
Was there?
There was. Yeah, it was. There was a video game adaptation. Eight-Legged Freaks, Let the Squishing Begin. It was released in 2002 for the PC and Mac. Yeah, that's the thing. It exists.
It exists, yeah.
It exists. And also, they were going to do a sequel.
I did hear about the sequel, but it just faded into obscurity, did it? Or like it never.
Yep. It was announced in January 2003 that they were going to do Eight-Legged Freaks 2, Electric Boogaloo. But nothing came about from it afterwards. It probably was just all rumor. Thank God. Don't make another one. You don't need to make a sequel. We don't need it. The story was ended. It's done. You blew it up.
I mean, they did well to get David, because I mean, David was coming off the back of 3 Screams at this point.
Oh yeah, David's hot shit.
David was Dewey 3 times at this point. He'd also been
greatest wrestling movie ever existed.
He'd been in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie with Kristen Swanson. He'd done Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore, where he played her brother. He was just in everything at this point.
Oh yeah.
When he turned up as Chris, and you took a look at him, and he had his little terrible beard. That was of the time. That little goatee, combo thing he had rocking.
What is on your face?
But he played Chris. I want to say very like Dewey, because he was a bit bumbly at points, like when he was going to speak to
Sam,
the sheriff lady, Sam. And I want to say, why in God's name has she got a surname that is that hard to pronounce? And I don't mean this with any disrespect, because I don't know if it's German, so I don't know if you say it's Vera, or if it's spelled the W, you pronounce the W. It's a hard one.
Yeah.
He turns into that bumbling idiot. Like he's like Dewey is, like when he's rehearsing, when he's walking up to the door and stuff. And I'm like, either this guy is tough guy, I'm not selling my mind, man, or he is.
My daddy knew what he was talking about. Why are you talking like this?
You look like an angel. What?
I picked them myself. But there's a scene when he's up on the pylon and he's screaming, about the Eight-Legged Freaks. He is really. I'm trying to find his character in Ready to Rumble, because that he essentially is playing that character, who I'm not going to find the name of now. Never mind.
They're here, doesn't he, or something, like really loudly down the phone, and she's like, "Sir, I'm going to hang up. This is for emergencies only."
He plays Gordy Boggs in Ready to Rumble, and that moment where he starts screaming, and and his eyes just like pull back. Yeah, that's his Gordy character. So he's essentially just playing Dewey and Gordy. I did go and have a read about the Arquettes.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah.
But I had a look at the different actresses and actors in here, and what really, really stood out for me with the casting is how they got a mother and daughter combo who looked exactly like each other, who were not blood related. Scarlett, they looked exactly like each other. The voice and everything.
Right. Scarlett in this was 17 years old when she did this. 6 years later, she married Ryan Reynolds. People always forget that Scarlett Johansson and Ryan Reynolds were married.
We had this exact conversation on Sunday. Yeah,
people always forget they were married. And they were only married for a year or two. It wasn't very long. I know,
because he was with Alanis Morissette for fucking ages.
Yep, he was engaged to her. That finished. He loves a Canadian, and then he married Blake Lively, and all this nonsense is kicked off. We don't know what's going on. And to be honest with you,
they've got money. It's just gonna go away.
Why would you ruin someone's career if that is your aim? If not, I don't know. I
We had this exact same conversation on Sunday, and I just it all just came spilling out how I feel about Blake Lively, because I once said, I don't mind this woman. I actually think she's all right. Like, and this is around about the Deadpool Wolverine time, and then all this came out, and I went, she can get in the fucking bin. You do not fool me, lady.
The thing is with this, sidestep slightly, is that Ryan and Scarlett didn't end amicably, from what I remember. It was
Yes.
kind of messy.
From what I remember, and bearing in mind, I only just remembered on Sunday that they were married, so.
And I always thought she was too. Oh God, this is going to sound horrible, but Scarlett gives off a very serious vibe in interviews. She doesn't seem to be very.
I felt like that in her younger days. I don't so much now. I feel like she's chilled out a bit, like becoming a mom and like being a bit more settled. I think in her younger days she was a bit more defensive,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think you've got to be a hell of a person to be with someone who has such a
Ego.
not even sense of humor. Ryan is his own thing. Like Ryan is his own. You can't even say it's his personality because
I'm
it's not
trying
his
to think of the best word for
personality.
him.
It's he's his own everything.
Yeah.
Um, and to have someone like that on 24/7, which is how everybody's said that he is. He's literally from the minute he gets up to the minute he goes to bed. That is Ryan. He never shies away from that. That is his personality. That is him. That is since he was born. That's what he's been like. So to be around someone that's like that all the time takes one hell of a person. It really
Oh,
does, because
100%.
it must be draining. It must be exhausting. There must be days when you just want to go get fucked and just
Go
fuck off.
away.
You know, I'm not in the fucking mood for it. And he'll be on it still. And I think it does take a hell of a person to put up with that. And I never thought Scarlett was
Yeah.
somebody that I could see doing that from what you are allowed to see of their
Yeah.
personality. Obviously, behind closed doors and all that, but
I don't know. I just feel like she's like I felt like that because I've known her since the Ghost World days, so I've always but
second
she
time it's come up in
yeah,
two
I
podcasts.
know. But yeah, she always used to come across really serious. I loved how they dressed her in this film. This was giving me vibes.
I was gonna say,
Not
because you
gonna
two are
lie,
pretty much the same age, aren't you? Give or
she's
take.
older than me. No, oh
She's
no.
5 years younger than me, so she's 40.
Okay, I'm older than her.
Yeah, because I looked it up because this movie came out in 2002. I was 22 when this film came out. I thought it was 99 for some reason. When I didn't even look, and I just put 1999 because I was convinced. And then when I went back and had another look just to double check and do all my going over everything, I was like, 2002? I was like,
She's
how old was Scarlett Johansson in 2002? And they said she was 17 years old, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay. I didn't realize she was like 5 years younger than me.
yeah, I'm 2 years older than her. We'll just skip
I
past that part, shall we?
But I did find out that there is a huge kind of like Marvel, MCU, DC weird connection thing between quite a few of the guys in this movie.
Yes, I only know one. Well, yeah, I only know one.
You've got Scarlet, obviously, Black Widow, we all know Natasha Romanoff.
Yeah,
Then
rest in
you've
peace.
got Carrie Hoare, or I'm not sure how you say her surname, who played the sheriff. If you go into her, her acting accolades, she has voiced nearly every single Marvel game, TV show. She
Hmm.
does like a lot of the female voices for that. And Scott Terra, who was the little boy, Mike,
Yeah.
he played a young Matt Murdock, but I'm talking young Batfleck
When
in
I read that, I was like, no, they what? No,
Daredevil.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I just instantly think of the Netflix
Mhm.
Daredevil, and I was like, no, no, oh shit, yeah, Affleck did one too. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, Batfleck did one, and he played a young Batfleck in that. So there's this weird kind of like
Little,
strange connection between the three. But when you see a photo of the kid of Scott as a young Matt Murdock, and then you see him as Mike in this, they dyed his hair, they give him contact lenses. He doesn't look like the same kid. It took me. I was like, no, are they? Is there twins? You know, when you're zooming in with your mouth,
yeah.
like, is there twins? And they're using the twin. You know, with that whole thing with the guys that played. Oh God,
Uh,
in X-Men.
mm,
You know, the two brothers in X-Men. You've got the one that you got Sean and is it Sean?
Yes, I know who you mean.
Those two. I know one's not in X-Men and the other one is, but they're both actors, and you can't tell them apart for love nor money, except one sometimes has stubble and the other one doesn't.
It's like him who plays Jughead. The kid.
Sprouse.
Yeah,
Sprouse, yeah.
I sometimes can't tell them apart either.
Yeah, they're just Big Daddy. That's where the Sprouses will always be for me.
They were Ben.
But I wipe my ass.
I wipe my own ass.
Hip hop anonymous. He always gets the easy ones.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I get them. I get them two kind of mixed up, but I don't think the other one does as much. Is it Cole Sprouse?
Cole Sprouse is
because he's Jughead.
Yeah, and then the other Sprouse, Brussels. I don't know.
Oh my gosh! Imagine if it was.
I'm going to forever call him that now.
Brussels Sprouse. Oh god! I should have known where tonight was heading when we started doing John Travolta impressions beforehand. I should have just guessed.
I'm going to be disappointed if Chris and Lee don't do some sort of Brussels Sprouse kind of like job now. I request it. No, nay, I demand it.
You know fine well the watch.
Exactly.
So it's gonna happen.
Not disappoint me.
Yeah, I was reading about the Arquettes because they're an interesting bunch, and how many is there?
5.
David's the youngest. 5. So Roxanne, Patricia,
Alexis, Richmond, and David.
Richmond.
Richmond's the one everybody forgets about.
Richmond, that's the one I do forget about. Yes. Yeah. So I was reading that his mom. Bloody hell, his mom. She was an actress, a burlesque dancer, a reporter, a theatre operator, an activist, an acting teacher, a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad was a puppeteer. Which makes so much sense.
But his dad also was in Scream.
He was an actor too, yes. He was he was an actor, but his main thing was being a puppeteer, and this is where David's love of puppeteering comes from. This movie is actually dedicated to Louis Arquette. He died while they were making it.
Yeah, he actually played the sheriff in the original Scream movie, if I'm right. I'm sure. His dad played something in one of the Scream movies.
Let's just...
I'm sure it was something like that. He was in one of the Scream
movies. My god, no. Yeah, no. That's his dad.
I'm sure it's something like that. It was something really
I'm sorry to I am so sorry to discredit Louis Arquette by just saying, oh, he was an actor. He was he worked.
Mm-hmm.
He was in The Waltons, Columbo. I'm like, The Incredible Hulk. Oh my god, he's The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, he was the sheriff. Yeah.
Was he?
You know his face.
Literally. I do know his face.
The sheriff in... There you go. I don't know if people can see that very well.
My god, yes, I can see him.
He was Dewey's boss in the very first Scream movie.
Tales from the Crypt.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Planet, he was a voice in that. Like, my god, I really did just like, he's just an actor. He was a fucking actor.
That's where the kids get it from. I mean, I say the kids, they've all 5 of them were 4 now. But yeah, we're in show business.
That's how I know him. Little Nicky, he's the Cardinal. That's Louis Arquette.
It's 11 o'clock. It's time for the pineapple.
Oh my god, that is crazy.
Yeah, he's obviously Patricia's in that movie as well. So she's in.
Oh yeah.
So
you've got
Patricia, who was in Medium, Severance, Little Nicky. She's done so much. Stigmata.
I fucking love that film. That used to be one of my go-tos, and also one of the greatest movies that has ever been made is True Romance, because that woman, oh my god, the scene between her and no, not Kristen Slater. What's he called, man? Tony Soprano. What's his real name?
James Gandolfini.
Yes, that's it. The fight scene between them two is one of the greatest fight scenes in movie history.
Oh, when they're throwing each other around, yeah. No, my favourite scene in that movie, just quickly, is Christopher Walken threatening Christian Slater in his caravan with his double wide. That, like, brilliant.
I know, I need to watch True Romance. I love that film so much that I was like, I was getting the tattoo. Like, I was like, oh, I wanted to be called Alabama so badly. Like, I just wanted to wear cow print all the time. I love that movie, but that fight scene is just immense. Like, James Gandolfini was so messed up off that fight scene because of how much she put into it. Like,
Mm,
he needed a therapist afterwards because she went full fucking berserk on him.
yeah. And you can see that was a hell of a fight as well.
She
Right.
wanted it to be as real as possible as well. She didn't want stunt doubles. She wanted to do as much as she possibly could. And every time they got a stop, he had to keep going, "Are you okay?" And she was like, "James, you just need to get on with it. Like, I am a professional here."
And just quickly, I would like to just give a honourable mention to Florence Pugh. As we've just seen, she does her own freaking stunts.
Yeah.
Did you see the footage of her throwing herself off the second highest building in the entire world?
The girl's amazing. I love her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even nervous. She said, "No, I'm really looking forward to it." I mean, obviously, I know she didn't parachute off the thing. She does the initial jump off of the roof.
Yes.
She's on wires, yeah. But get in the bin if you think I'm doing that. I want some danger money for that first. Thank you very
Exactly.
much. But
Exactly. No, she's going to carry that film. She is going to carry that film on her shoulders.
thunderbolts,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. That girl's so got it. But
Moving
yeah,
on.
the Arquette family, they're so interesting because they all are a bunch of actors.
Yeah.
Obviously Alexis has a huge place in my heart.
Yeah, I mean, Rosanna was in Pulp Fiction, for those of you that are trying to picture her. She's been in loads more, but she was in the scene where, they stab Uma Thurman in the chest, and
She's there.
she's there. Alexis, for one of my favourite, there's two films that Alexis lives rent-free in my head in, and that is Bride of Chucky and obviously The Wedding Singer. You will never, ever not tell me Alexis did Boy George.
Give me
Disservice. I
time.
know, honestly. To realize my
It's like proper air grab moment, isn't it?
It is. And then it's like the keyboard as well.
Do you really want to hurt me?
And he's just putting it on loop because he's run off
constantly. Alex, I watched Hollywood Medium where they had David and Roxanne.
Roseanne, yeah.
Roseanne. Oh my God, he's ick. I get that, but I love
Tyler. I don't know what
there was just there was something comforting that the two of them got out of it because David was kind of very taken aback by there was nothing like specifically said that would be like, but it was just comforting to the like what he said is what everyone knew is when Alexis passed away because Alexis sadly lost their battle to AIDS and because he'd been diagnosed with HIV in the 80s, which I didn't know about, but he succumbed to it in the early 2000s.
We're flip-flopping from he to she, can I just say, because Alexis was she for a very long time.
Yes.
But then in their last
David,
we're not entirely 100%.
Well, no, David describes Alexis as identity curious. Like if they woke up one day, I feel like I'm a woman, if I felt it. And it was more expressional than but Alexis did go through a transformation. She just rumor she came out of it. But
at the end,
but
she found God, apparently. Again, this is as the story goes when you look into it.
None of the Arquettes have ever confirmed it. They don't really talk about Alexis. Like they're happy to, like especially that the medium brought up the fact that Alexis was there, but it was literally just comforting messages. They knew you were there. They knew you were over because all the Arquettes were together when. Because it's just, I always thought they were a bit of a broken family. They're not at all. Nice. Incredibly tight.
Well, David Arquette owns the right to Bozo the Clown. It took him 15 years to get the rights to it, but he owns the rights. He's also a certified Bob Ross instructor.
You told me this when we last talked about David Arquette.
That one blows my mind. He's directed episodes of CSI Miami and Medium. Obviously, his sister's on Medium.
Yeah.
And he's just got a genuine love for
entertainment,
charity. Actually.
Oh, okay.
He is a very a huge philanthropist. In his spare time, he said, "If I've been gifted the ability to have a platform, I should use it in the best ways I can and not waste my opportunities."
He's such a sweet boy, isn't he?
And after seeing him at Horror Rock and Wrestling, he walked around the trader hall. He got there early, and he walked around the trader hall. Every trader that I say accosted, I don't mean it in that like harsh,
but they
jumped on him a little bit. And he took a photo with absolutely everyone, stood by made sure their banner was in the pictures.
Oh my God.
He didn't have to do that. He didn't buy a single thing, but he just thought he'd have a walk around. Now, that goes to show to me that he's gone the extra mile, and I will always have the utmost respect for that man after what he did with the 6-hour flight, going back and having to turn around and come again. I will never have a bad word said about him now. Anybody who moans about him, no. Richmond, however, the elusive brother that people don't know, he was in Rob Zombie's Halloween. He was also in The Zodiac with Mark Ruffalo.
I have heard that film is very good.
Zodiac is great. Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr. and
Richmond is that great. He doesn't even have his own Wikipedia page.
Richmond also played Anton LaVey in a very recent short movie, which I find interesting because, you know, Anton LaVey is a character within himself, and to be played by an Arquette as well.
He's a fucking sex pest is what he is.
Oh, it's just a strange man. But yeah,
I recognize his face. He's definitely an Arquette.
Oh, 100%. You can see he looks like David adjacent. Not David Jason, David adjacent.
He looks like if someone took David's face and went like that. And I'm trying not to be horrible about it, but his face, like David's quite thin, like a thin frame. He's quite Patricia. That's who he looks like.
Yeah. Patricia now, not Patricia.
Patricia now, yeah. Even though Patricia is still fucking beautiful and I still fucking love her.
In Severance, she gives me the ick in Severance.
Still not seen it.
I'm first season down. I'm in probably the second or third episode of 2. I'm struggling with 2 a little bit. But something will click and crack.
Oh my God. The picture of him as Anton LaVey.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah.
Definitely is. The Arquettes are an interesting bunch. But there's nothing bad about them. It's not like you're talking about the Barrymores or, you know, the Houstons. This is a family of actors who, you know, their grandfather was an actor as well, Cliff Arquette. So this is a Hollywood family that managed to not allow Hollywood to take over them.
Yeah, David moved to the East Coast on purpose. He didn't want to be.
He went to rehab, didn't he? He had a stint in rehab for. Well, they do have a tendency for liking their drugs and alcohol a bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, obviously David married Courtney, and when he was in this movie, he was married to Courtney, I think, at this point. They've got a daughter together, Coco. She's about 17, 20 now. I don't know, around about that.
Just kills me.
Yeah,
I remember when she was born.
He's got 2 more children with his new wife, Christina, I think, or Maria Christina, something. I know it's like that. And she looks exactly like Courtney did in Friends, which I still can't get my head around. But he has a type, shall we say? He has a type.
They've just celebrated a big milestone, like a big marriage milestone.
It's about 15 years, 20 years.
Something like that. Yeah. Oh God. But him and Courtney have always been on really good terms. And I always remember the birth story, like not birth story, but Coco being born because she was a twin. And they lost the twin. And it was like, Jesus Christ, how does these two people, how do they get over it? Because, you know, she's a comedian. Essentially, she's a comedic actress. And that was the last I ever heard of it. It was just one thing I always remembered. And their relationship was just brilliant. They had to, for something so tragic, which could have like really turned on their arse for the pair of them, they kind of like didn't allow it to.
Yeah.
And she still has like you still see them together getting photographed today.
Oh, they co-parent really well. They still co-parent Coco really, really well.
She is gorgeous.
And Courtney and his new wife get on really, really well as well. So it's nice.
Courtney has been with him from Snow Patrol for fucking ever. They never got married.
The lead singer?
No,
I was going to say.
Guitarist. Right. I'm thinking it's Snow Patrol because I remember when I saw it, I was like, shit, why?
It's like Kate Hudson and the guy from friggin' Muse, isn't it? You're like Matt Bellamy.
Are they still together?
No, but when they were together, I was like,
I still can't get my head around that Oliver Hudson's our brother. Like, and I always think I don't see it. Oh yeah, I kind of do see it.
And that's the weird thing because her and Oliver share the same mum and dad.
Yeah.
Then you've got Wyatt who share the same mum, but they
Kurt's his dad.
Kurt's his dad.
And you can tell.
And it's like they're mutations of each other, but you see it going down in the family. It's so weird.
It's so strange. Because she is the image of her mother. He is not the image of his father.
No, I don't know what happened when it came to Oliver.
No, I'm not too sure. But then you've got Wyatt. Oh my god, we watched that Godzilla program where the two of them played each other, older, younger version. Yeah. My god, Wyatt was breathtaking.
They did that face meld thing, didn't they? Where they would keep
doing jaw.
They'd go in and out of like that weird transitional thing, and it'd be like whoa. But it doesn't look like Kurt did when he was younger, when he was in like and stuff. So you think, oh, how are they going to do this? And then you go, actually, no, I'm convinced. Same person.
It's totally fine. I can ignore the fact I know what Kurt Russell looked like when he was younger. That is totally fine. I don't care because he was brilliant. The first time I ever saw Wyatt and I lost my mind was 21 Jump Street. I was like, oh my god, it's Wyatt Russell. Spiders.
Spiders. There is not a great deal out there really about the making of this movie because there is an actual Blu-ray out there, but I couldn't find the actual thing on like YouTube, and it's not available to kind of rent on any streaming platform. But it's called The Making of Eight-Legged Freaks, and it was like a Blu-ray DVD extra. And I tried to find it, and it was supposed to be really packed full of stuff, but again, couldn't find it. I did, however, find a lot to do with the practical makeup guys.
Right.
The SFX makeup was done by a guy called Leo Corey Castellano. He has now worked on stuff like Sleepy Hollow, the TV series, White Lotus, Three Billboards from Ebbing, Baby Driver, all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Firefly, right? Then you had Madeline Scott Spencer, who was the creature designer.
Some good creatures.
She has worked on movies for Marvel and DC, The Witcher, Maze Runner, The Hobbit, Avatar, Planet of the Apes. And then the main makeup supervisor was Rick Sharp. Now, Rick Sharp is best known for Jaws 2, Top Gun, Cocktail, Rain Man, Forrest Gump.
Jesus.
He literally he's the Tom Cruise. I don't know if he's a science-mologist, but he has the Tom Cruise Jesus lineup on his thing. And then he goes up into the, when you see his backlog. But the three of these, they have hell of a provenance, but none of them have won a single award of any kind of notoriety that I could see that, people would know anyway. Yeah. Which is shocking to think that somebody like Madeline Scott Spencer, who was the creature designer, and we're not talking special effects as in she was responsible for a lot of the designs and stuff. She designed the Witcher monsters. She designed the in the Hobbit or the Hobbit trilogy. She designed a lot of the looks for the orcs and all that sort of stuff. Avatar, she did a lot to do with the Blue Fricans.
The what?
The Blue Fricans, that's what they call them.
Are you being genuine?
I've genuinely heard them called that on more than one occasion. The aliens.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot what they're called. Yeah, honestly, that's what I've heard them called, referred to. And yeah, she had something to do with the costuming for that, but the design of the costume, not the actual making, obviously, because the CGI and James Cameron is weird and
And also, if you watch Face Off, you'll know that there will always be a concept creator, a concept designer that doesn't necessarily, Totopoulos made a whole fucking career out of it, which blows my mind.
Werewolves was his baby, though, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
The Planet of the Apes as well. I mean, she did a lot to do with, it was the new trilogy that came out, not Kingdom, but she did Planet, Dawn, and War. So she had a lot to do with the look of the bad ape and stuff like that. That was sort of to do
I
with
didn't mind that film.
I
know you do.
me. I have a Caesar bust down the yard and it got cracked and I desperately want to have it fixed so I can have it in here because I love my Caesar. It's like Caesar and it's got the red stripe down his face and I'm like, I want it badly. Got to make it better so I can
make it all better.
But yeah, I mean, they've got
That's some credits, mine. That is some good credits.
Considering as well that Rick was known very well prior to this because this is 2002. So Rick's done Cocktail, Rain Man, Top Gun, Jaws 2, Forrest Gump before even this came out.
Forrest Gump, like, and I know you might be going, well, there may not be a lot of makeup on there. Kind of is. Kind of is.
So much the wig when he's done the running and there's a lot.
There's a lot. And you got to think, costume just doesn't come down to the fact of like elaborate stuff. It comes down to like genuine, just general clothing. Like what Scarlett Johansson wore in this was just incredible. Whoever dressed her, bravo. You got 2000. You got it right there in what she was wearing.
The plastic choker. There's always a plastic choker somewhere along the line.
Or the beaded chain. Can you remember the beaded chain that used to fasten weirdly at the back? I had one of them.
I had a kid's set of like jewelry making, and I had the cord, and then I used to put all the plastic stars and beads on it, and have like a little choker made out of that. And
I could never wear I could never wear a choker.
Oh, it was never too. Mine was never actually like a choker. It was like it sat there, but it wasn't like tight or anything.
Me beaded necklace I got from Florida, and that used to like me back. It's like the skater style one, and it used to just sit just across my collarbone. You know when I had a collarbone, it used to sit across there. I do have the spiders if you want to know them.
Yeah, I'm intrigued because I'm sure there was a trapdoor spider in there because they're the other half sat down there, and he goes to me, he goes, they're the most deadliest spiders on this planet, the trapdoor spiders. He said, and they're making out like some of these spiders would save them. And he's like, I don't know if they would. If they were trapdoor, they'd eat you straight away. They'd just kill you for fun as well. So I was like,
ding, ding, ding. You got one right. Jumping spider.
Yes,
tarantulas in there. Jumping spider. Orb weaving spider.
They're the ones that were twizzling them up. Yeah,
that's a Shelob.
Right. Okay.
Isn't
that the one in The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings? Shelob.
Yeah.
Is that what they
Shelob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not my Shelob. Not my spider.
No, but like no.
She was just a garden spider.
My brain is trying to remember things.
Yeah, a spitting spider.
Not heard of one of those.
Nope.
Interesting.
And a tiger wolf spider.
Oh. Right, okay.
And I think the tiger wolf spiders might have been the ones with the patterns on them. You know, that there are quite a lot of them that were running around like the main spiders, I think. Yeah. I'm just guessing at this point because I don't know spiders very well. I just like to talk to them. Tiger wolf spider. Anthony would know. He has just walked behind. Yeah, I was right. It is. It's the one, the main ones that are like at the end when they're all just come running out. There's loads of them. That's one of them. Beautiful looking things. They've got some very interesting design work on, like patterns on them.
Yeah, I mean the premise of this film is basically a guy carrying toxic waste swerves to not hit a bunny on the road. Typical trope, right?
Yeah.
Toxic barrel comes bundling off the back and goes into the river. The river then somehow manages to pollute the water. Although I would like to know if the water was genuinely coming from that dirt hole, how they were all still alive in the first place, let alone when they added the toxic
B-movie magic.
Oh, yeah. So somehow the spiders got exposed to this when he already said that they got too big when they were all in their enclosures. He was like, yeah, they seem to be really big for their size, and I wonder how big they'll be next week. And it was just like, okay, so you're knowing that they're getting big here, and you're not concerned that they're bigger than they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then they
and you're an arachnid. What about doctor? I don't know what the terminology is.
He had a farm. He was a farmer.
Oh, right. He was a spider farmer.
Yeah.
Farmer spider.
He was a spider
Oh my god. Sorry, I've just remembered one of the one-liners. It's a spider, man.
Yeah. And you could see the look on his face as well when he delivered that line. He was like, they made me do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so then the spiders get bigger and they take over the town. It is literally just a B-movie
extravaganza.
Yes, it really is. The toxic waste, the big giant spiders, the very small town that clearly has no help until the very last minute when all the help comes in to get like
it's too late. They've already done it at that point. Overcome.
Well, so I love the fact that let's just talk about the spiders for a minute, because the spiders had every single one of them had their own little personality, all had their own little ass. Did you not like it?
I did, but it takes you out of the film because it's ridiculous.
It puts me right in it.
I tried to Google what they were thinking, like when they were doing the Foley, right?
I'm here to see what your search history is like.
Yeah. What were they thinking
spiders
when they
thinking?
voiced the spiders in Eight-Legged Freaks? Yeah. It's this whole weird concept for me. When you're in a Foley stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
You make the sounds to make them sound more like they're supposed to, yet you use completely different objects to get to the end of the thing that you need to do, right? So anyone that's been to Universal, you see the Foley demonstration thing. They get people up on the stage and they show you how Foley works. I don't know what the hell they were. I don't understand why they had a kung fu cat.
Did you hear that the cat was trying? I've got my notes where it says when the cat is fighting the spider, you can actually hear the cat try kung fu.
Yes.
So I had to go back and watch that scene again. And sure enough, you can hear the cat going, ha, ha, ha.
And yeah, it is.
Sorry, Binks.
Absolute insanity. But all the spiders, one of them sounded like a lion, another one sounded like a dinosaur. Then there was another one that had like a little giggle, a constant little.
Yeah, when the spinny spider was like doing the spinny stuff, it just sounded like they're going when it was doing it.
I think it makes sense to give them their own personalities to prove that they are evolving. Maybe I don't know. If
maybe they got hit with toxic waste. Like, don't you get mutants from toxic waste? Like, have we not seen that? Yeah, exactly. Have we not seen that before? And Toxie moves around and talks and everything.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where it was just like, it works with the movie, don't get me wrong. And absolutely. I'm not knocking it in that respect, but it was just like, for me, it was just so far-fetched that you're giving spiders a voice kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
It was one of the things I always loved about this film was the fact that the spiders had their own little like thing, their own little personality. What I also loved as well is the soundtrack to this movie.
The Incy Wincy Spider by oh god, I've forgotten his name now, but yeah, that I thought it was really creepy. But
and the fact that every major spider attack, Incy Wincy Spiders played in the background.
And apparently, I found out for our US listeners, because we do have some.
We do.
We call it Incy Wincy, and you call it Itsy Bitsy.
Why?
There's a difference. Well, I don't know what the difference is, but the UK, we say Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the water spout. They say Itsy Bitsy Spider, as in teeny tiny.
Mate, I think that's a southern and northern thing, because I'm sure we said Itsy Bitsy.
We say Incy Wincy.
But I could be completely wrong and just making this up in my head.
Yeah, so
people from the northeast who listen.
Anybody comment on this one, because it's an American versus US thing on TikTok that I saw.
And now I'm trying to make it a north and south divide thing.
And it may well be because there's words that Sammy uses that are like knee bosh that I've now adopted. And I find myself saying it to people all the time, knee bosh. And I'm like,
I say it all the time. Dan says, knee bosh.
Knee bosh.
And she's like, you all right? I'm like, aye.
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 But yeah, so it's one of those ones where if you were to have song lyrics to this, I think it would be Itsy Bitsy Spider. Yeah. But then I don't know what the teacher kids place, so
no, haven't got a clue. Don't have kids. But also I don't really know. I don't really know. I don't know. But I do know this movie has a death count.
Oh, okay. Are we talking Claude Rains? Are we talking? We must be.
No,
Jason.
We're not.
Right, we're
not.
Jason.
No.
Really?
Yeah. Remember when we got shocked at Jigsaw?
Really?
And we went, yeah. And we were like, oh, I thought there was more. Kind of the same here. There was 66 victims in this movie. And I can tell you every single one. I'm not going to, but I do have a list of every single person who was killed.
There's obviously a lot of them that get like abducted and then get wrapped up and taken down for her to suck the life out of them. The Queen.
You're gonna make us do it, aren't you?
No, but
I totally forgot about Joshua's parrot.
I see dead people. He loves that film.
That's the fact that when he goes, I see dead people, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
I like, no, not the parrot. And yeah, there's 66, and I literally have a list of them. There's like untowned person number 6, unnamed town person number 8, number 17, Prosperity Mall survivor number 1, number 2, number 3, Carol.
Baskin. Yeah.
Damn bitch. Chainsaw Man number 1, Floyd.
Janitor. Yeah.
Who the fuck's Floyd?
Well, when I was looking through like the IMDb, because I always have a quick flick to see if there's anybody that plays a really tiny part that's really big now that wasn't big then, and this character come up called Amos, and I was like, who the hell is Amos? And I couldn't work out who Amos was, but he's got like
he's the truck driver. I've got him here. Amos, the truck driver. He was blown up by spiders.
Never once is he referred to by his name in the film. Never once. So why the hell they felt to give him? Why can't they call him truck driver number 3 or also, truck driver?
We've got a Leroy.
Of course we have.
We've got a Larry.
The lurker.
Hey, Larry's got a new home. He was starting to fall down all the time. Larry was eaten alive by spiders. Unnamed man, unnamed girl in windows. I tell you what I really loved. Another trope that they had is the barbershop guy. B movies always have a barbershop guy or a guy who works in a local store that everyone knows and wears a dicky bow tie, and yeah, they had him in here, and I was so sad when he died. At least I think he died. Had to have died.
Yeah, I mean they just sucked him into that tent, didn't they? And then he was done. The one thing, right? The CGI issue. Okay, it is of its time and it is blatant. But I mean, back then it might not have been blatant. To us, it's blatant now.
Yeah.
The best scene in that the whole film for me, that whilst is so far-fetched but looked fantastic, was when the giant spiders were chasing Chad Brett Michael twatface rapist horrible boy on his scrambling bike.
Isn't Brett Michael the guy from
Poison?
Yeah.
I don't know what that kid's name was. Was it Brett? Scarlett Johansson's boyfriend.
Sex pest, yeah.
When he's doing the thing that got me right. Okay, he's on his scrambler. He launches. He gets some air, and then he side Supermans a spider in the air, whilst literally doing a back kick, kicks the spider, jumps back on the scrambler. We're talking full on Travis Pastrana Nitro Circus maneuvers, right? Lands it perfectly, then goes hightailing it and does a huge leap over the road in front of this truck. That bit I'm like, for God's sake. But then it's the bit when the truck hits the spiders then go on the truck. That whole explosion where the phone lines get taken down and the spiders on top of the truck setting fire. That bit for me was so well done because it was done in miniature.
Yeah. Right.
There was elements of it where the spiders were practical and there was miniature sections which they used. I mean, I say practical. I'm aware that it's a moving vehicle. It was all done very differently. But I don't know, there was something about that bit that I was just like, I really loved how that looked as well. Like they, compared to the rest of the shots, I feel like they really put time and effort into that one.
Yeah.
So for me, I love
what you
that
mean.
shot.
I honestly, I love the one where they're looking out on the street and it's just fucking pandemonium and chaos because it literally just screams B-movie-esque. Like it's just you could look at that and go, oh my God, that's like from the 50s, from the 60s, but it's not. It's from 2002. He was horrible. He did the whole line of you just saying no makes me want it even more. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off.
Thank fuck for the taser. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God, and she so quickly used it.
And I love the fact they made him piss himself as well.
Yep.
And then his friend mocked him as well. So yeah, have that. You know.
Have that, you bitch. I tell you what, who I really enjoyed, and I was so glad nothing happened to him. Where is he? The officer.
Oh, the deputy.
Pete Willis, the one who lost his cat.
And he was getting really, really upset because his wife left him and went.
It was the fact that he's like, one of them a spider ate my cat, and she's like, oh my God, like, how's your wife taking it? She left me.
I've got a lactose intolerance. I'm just feeling a bit mucusy.
He was just brilliant throughout the whole thing. Like he's like, shut the shutters. I'm gonna go and shut the shutters. I'm gonna go and do that. I'm gonna do that because I am Officer Pete.
There was this one bit that happened to him specifically because you always get the bumbling police officer, the love
he played it brilliantly.
Where he's in the police car, he's making all the hootenanny outside the house, and there's the spider on top. And I don't know how this happened, but goo drops into his mouth from the ceiling of the car, and I'm like, and I don't know how it happened because yes, there's a spider on the roof, but the spider at that point hadn't punched a hole through the roof that I'm aware of because he hadn't even noticed it was a spider. So how the goo dropped into his mouth and into his I was just like, and that guy played that so well without going like heaving. So I was like,
I absolutely loved him, but I also loved Harlan as well. Because Harlan opens the film and he closes the film.
Conspiracy in the caravan, DJ, you know.
His opening was so funny. He was like, and I'll tell you how a black man's vote in Florida will never count. I just thought he was so funny, but I love the fact that he's like, I've been screaming about this for ages, and he was absolutely convinced the spiders were there to probe him.
And they were aliens, yeah. Now, this was the discussion that me and Rob just had, because I watched it last night, but I was packing orders for Rob, so I missed a lot. So I went back and I watched it again, like just before I came up, and like I caught a lot more this time. And I didn't realise how long he went on about alien probing for, right?
It was so long. It was all the way through the film.
And I said, I paused it and I turned around and said to her, what is the fascination with anal probing and aliens? Where did this come from? And I thought, no, I'm not going to put that in my Google search history. But it is my brain. Yeah, you got a cat as a hat.
I see him.
Yeah, but yeah, it's one of those things where you think to yourself, how the hell? It's come from somewhere. But
yeah, isn't it something that there's a joke there somewhere. What's he trying to do? Will you get on? I'm worried because the shelf he's looking at has all me. I don't want him to touch that one. I couldn't give a shit about the rest of them, but not that one.
He's a shelf swiper as well, isn't he?
He's a little Ant's literally just found his headphones that he lost ages ago because Bink swiped them under the bed. What was I going to say? Oh yes, there's a joke there somewhere about how men constantly think about alien probing when I think it's from South Park, to be honest. It's probably where I'm thinking of it from. But yeah, Harlan is so funny. He is the four horsemen of the X-Files. Like he's living in the tin chalet, Yeah, absolutely loved him. I just love the fact that he just kept going, I've been telling you this for years.
And it isn't until he can see, he keeps like pressing all the way through, even when his airstream gets completely swallowed by a bunch of giant spiders. He even keeps saying they're aliens, and he was insisting they were aliens right until the end when the deputy turns around and says to him, no, they're just genetically modified spiders. And he's like, oh, they're genetically they were like toxic manipulated or something. And he goes, oh, that makes more sense. It's just like,
he like fully accepts it, but can't accept what he's looking at in front of him, that they are not aliens.
And even David Arquette goes to him, you believe in aliens, but you don't believe in great big spiders? He's like, what the hell?
The best part about it is, though, Harlan Shaw, like, this is a really small mining town. And Harlan Shaw is played all the time. Like, the locals all listen to it because he's funny and he's a little bit eccentric, and his conspiracy theories are absolutely hilarious. So when the sheriff gets on the speakers and like, this is an emergency, grab your weapons, we need to get out of here, and everyone just laughs. Nobody believes him.
Oh, it's just Harlan Show again, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I just want to hark back to Arquette for a second, because the scene where they're talking about the whole mine and getting, selling the mines off to, that just cracked me up, because he literally walked in there like Johnny Rambo, like just
it was proper like
over my dead body.
There was something about that scene where it's not an Arquette scene, right? No. Arquette never plays that kind of dude, right?
No, you can tell like that came from his toes, that mind.
Yeah, when he was Nasty Benny and he turned into the vampire in Buffy, he still wasn't that guy. It was like he and so when he was walking in doing I call it the David Arquette eyebrow, the dewy eyebrow, because he has this thing where he puts one up and puts down, and
Lee does it. He
walked in and he did the eyebrow, and he's like looking really seriously at everybody. He's like, the mine is not for sale, and it's like, dude, that's not.
It's like his shoulders were like so up, and he was like, Keaton's Batman couldn't really move, kind of thing. Yeah. Like, oh, my dead buddy.
And then he just
never sell the mine.
It's just like, tough guy, eh?
Yeah.
And then you bring her a bunch of weeds in the next scene. So
I loved his was it his auntie?
Oh yeah, Aunt
Gladys?
Gladys, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved her. I loved the fact that, so at the end of the movie, they're all in the mines. There's methane gas everywhere, so it's like, can't use your guns.
Yeah, they're all high as balls, I think.
Yeah, literally.
You're an angel.
And he saves his Aunt Gladys from the web weaver, who's like put him in a little cocoon, because apparently she's the only one he found her straight away, and two, didn't bother to go and look if anyone else was who survived. Yeah, he got what he wanted, but it's the fact she went to go and light a cigarette up that just absolutely cracked me up. And then at the end, when she's like, you got a cigarette? And he's like, no, sorry, I don't smoke. She's like, good, it's a filthy habit, don't even like it, don't even know why I want a cigarette for.
And in real life, she didn't smoke, so they gave her herbal cigarettes.
That must be horrible.
And also, not in any way other than that tiny little fact is this related, but Pat Butcher in EastEnders, smoked herbal cigarettes because she didn't smoke either.
Yeah.
So it is a real thing. I always thought they made that up, but herbal cigarettes just sounds absolutely disgusting. No. And I can only think it must feel like smoking sage and onion. Like Paxo or something. Do you know what I mean?
I fucking love Pat Butcher. It's who I aspire to be, and like dress sense wise, like, aesthetic wise, I aspire to look like Pat Butcher when I'm older.
Your earrings are cheap. Yeah. If someone says that to me, a compliment.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. It was either a toss up between Pat Butcher or
Bet Lynch.
Bet Lynch.
I wear enough leopard print to qualify as Bet Lynch, but it's just one of those things that, like I said, I always thought that herbal cigarettes were a myth. They were just something they said just because herbal cigarettes just sounds absolutely disgusting. So I was just like, oh no, maybe I don't know, just not made up, but you know what I mean, like just ugh. But yeah, she smoked them all the way through that film because she doesn't smoke.
Poor lady. Poor lady. I have no more.
You.
I have no more.
I think we've
But
really exceeded it. It's kind of like the Toxic Avenger for spiders, but you don't
yeah.
like spiders at the end.
Nah.
Well, don't mind. I didn't hate them at any point. They were just spidering. They were just spidering.
Doing this spider thing.
Yeah. Spider thing,
Spider thing.
does whatever a spider thing does. Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, really, get out their fucking way. Leave them be. Shut the mine up. Leave them in there. See you later. You know.
Exactly. And they did. They blew the town. They blew the mines up. Spiders are gone, and they all went on about their business. But I have to ask you, did you do Dan's tedious link?
Of course I did.
Oh my God.
I've decided I'm going to call it 666 Degrees of Jake.
Excellent.
Because Jake contributed the name and we always get the last word wrong. So I'm calling it 666 Degrees of Jake. Yeah, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Dougie Doug played Harlan Griffith, but is most known for playing Sanka in Cool Runnings. Sanka, you dead, man. Yeah, man. John Candy played Irving Blitzer, but in 1981 he also played Ox in Stripes alongside PJ Soles.
Yeah.
PJ Soles is most famous for playing Linda in Halloween alongside Jamie Lee Curtis, who has an uncredited role in Escape from New York as the computer voice with Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken. Kurt voiced Copper in Disney's The Fox and the Hound. And young Todd was voiced by none other than Keith Coogan, aka Brad from Adventures in Babysitting.
He did it!
There was about 15 ways I could have got there. This one was super quick. It was like, I could have done it in 2 moves. So I was like, no, I'm going to go back and I'm going to... But something about John Carpenter I've noticed, he loves giving his female leads uncredited computer voices. Because Adrian... He's Adrian Barbeau. He gave her, she was the voice of the computer in Thing. And then Jamie was the voice of the computer in Escape from New York. And then he just loves doing this thing with these female leads, which I found interesting.
Next week. What we doing next week, Dan? Tell the masses, Dan, what we're doing next week.
We are teleporting 23 years into the future from this movie. Boom. We are doing a recent one. We are doing something that has not long come out and has intrigued the hell out of both of us. It's called The Rule of Jenny Penn, starring Jeffrey Rush and John Lithgow. So I am really looking forward to this one. I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. So
I love him. I love Jeffrey Rush. But I love Lithgow. Yeah,
Lithgow, right, for me. I always had him as a comedy actor. I grew up with Third Rock from the Sun. He played Farquaad. You know, he's the funny guy until I saw him in Dexter.
Yep.
And he played the Trinity Killer. And my thoughts about John Lithgow and what the kind of actor who
you thought he was.
Yeah, completely changed.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Rush he's always played really like the King.
The King's Speech.
King's Speech. He obviously, we know him from Pirates of the Caribbean as well. So that's his probably most lovable legacy character. But he's played very worldly characters.
Yes, he's definitely a character actor, and I can putting them to. You're right with John Lithgow, because he was. I just Harry and the Hendersons, Third Rock from the Sun. You're like, yeah, he's funny. He's a funny dude. And then Dexter season 4, the Trinity Killer. This is game changing TV for me. When I think of where TV series have got to get me, it's where Dexter was. That series broke me. That one my spirits.
John, it's horrible to say that you don't expect that of an actor, because an actor's job is to act. But when an actor's been typecast to such an extent that they live in a land and they stick in their lane, and it's like sometimes when they dip a toe it doesn't work out, but he dipped a toe and Christ did this work out for him. And he may well have been a straight actor prior to doing like Third Rock from the Sun and Harry and the Hendersons and all that. He may well have been a straight actor prior to that, but I don't know him from. I know him from the comedy side.
I'm looking forward to, because we do look at the actors that we, the movies that we're talking about. So I am looking forward to having a little bit further look, because what I've just listed there and Shrek is, oh my gosh, he played Winston Churchill. He played Winston Churchill in The Crown. And
I've never seen The Crown, so.
Danny was amazing. I mean, he wasn't Gary Oldman amazing, but he was amazing. For an American coming in and playing, I don't know if iconic is the right word to use, because I know people have feelings on Churchill, but as in historic character, like historic person, he did a pretty good fucking job.
And I'm intrigued. See, now I know a lot of people are the whole thing. I don't want to touch this with a barge pole, but I'm just putting it out there quickly, and then I'm going to take away and pretend I didn't say it. He is now going to be Albus Dumbledore. So,
yes,
I am not angry at it, and I want to watch it. But in the same vein, with everything that's going on right now, I don't want be part to say it. And like,
I kind of don't want to be a part of it, and also I'm fucking sick of Harry Potter. Like as an IP itself. When I read the books, I was like, do you know what? Fuck you, Harry Potter. Fuck you. You're a horrible person. He's horrible. He's just horrible. Make the story about Ron, because I tell you what, it would have been a much interesting story if Ron was the main character.
That poor little ginger kid, eh?
I know. He was up for any adventure.
Leviosa, not Leviosa. Okay.
Oh, now you mentioned Farquhar. I fucking love Shrek, by the way. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man! The one from Drury Lane? Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Well, she's married to the Muffin Man. The Muffin Man! The Muffin Man! I do this with my sister every time. If it is mentioned, it's either that or it's the Duloc song or you're a monster. Not my chewy gumdrops.
Oh God. Yeah, just John Lithgow does insane tyrannical.
Oh, that's such an amazing word.
I don't know even what you call Farquhar. He did it.
Oh, it's just
short man complex, you know.
It's. I'm sorry, Shrek still holds up for me. The Robin Hood song alone just gets us in the funnies. I don't think I've ever seen any of the other ones, because I'm like, you'll never beat Shrek, because it is hilarious. I am really looking forward to this, though. It's going to be something up to date. But don't get us wrong, we are going to be going back to some monsters eventually.
Yeah, we're just spreading our wings a little bit. We're just curious what else is out there, and modern horror isn't something we tend to go into too much. And by modern, I mean like as of right now, because we dipped our toe with Nosferatu. It was the first episode back in this season, and both of us were very.
We thought it was going to be something else.
Yes,
we thought this was the movie, and. Don't get us wrong, this is some people's movie of the year, because the fuckers are still talking about it today. But this was not our movie of the year.
No, definitely not. There's been a lot more that have come out this year that are noteworthy to talk about. And the stuff that is coming out at the moment, there's some, I mean, I watched The Monkey. I've seen The Monkey, and I
too. Did you like it? I loved it.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's again, it's Final Destination, but with a monkey. And then now this is a divisive opinion, because
I know what you're going to say, because there's a line.
Yes,
being drawn.
I loved Death of a Unicorn. Right, you will not get me thinking going into a film with Will Poulter and Paul Rudd in it that it's going to be serious, that it's going to be anything you can, even if it's an A24 film, which it is. There's no way I'm going to watch. I don't mind an A24. But A24 are traditionally serious movies. They're not really like comedy.
No.
So when you're going into seeing something like, I think, Will Poulter and Paul Rudd in a movie, I'm not going in thinking to myself, you know, this is going to be Hereditary.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And it was the most ridiculous plot, the most ridiculous storyline, fantastically executed, And I still refuse to believe that Paul Rudd is a father in a film, because that makes me feel exceptionally icky and old, and I don't like it. However, Jenna Ortega, I will say, she gets on my nerves because she's in everything. I feel like she is, in the last sort of 5 years, she's everywhere in everything, and I feel she's oversaturated. Yeah, like, I'm not saying she's not a good actress. I'm not saying she's not very talented at what she does.
Is it the Chris Pratt effect?
It is very much so. Like, everything all at once has her in it, and it's like, whoa, is she Wednesday Adam? Is she in Scream? Is she? Do you know?
Is she playing the same person? Who said that?
She was a bit of. This was the thing, right? The beginning of this film, I'm not going to spoil it. This isn't a spoiler by any stretch of the imagination, because you can see it in the trailer. She plays a slightly alternative person, right? Now, I don't know what category you want to put her in. She's not a goth, but she might be a bit grungy, she's not emo, she's not that kind of style, but she's more sort of muso, grungy kind of. And they portray her as someone who looks disheveled. Like, alternative people firstly don't know how to wash, and how they don't know how to look after themselves or care after themselves. They give her that kind of like vibe where she's just not looking.
I mean, I don't tend to wash my hair all the fucking time, but I definitely take a shower every fucking day.
I will say something. They put her in a terrible wig, and it annoyed me, because I'm like, I know what they're trying to do. They're making her look like she has no value.
Dirty goth.
But also that no one will take her seriously because she has no value, because they have to build the story to get to where it needs to get to. Which,
do you know whose wig maker you need to go and see? Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman never has her actual hair in a movie. The only time she ever did is when you see her genuine hair, which is her ginger curly locks. Everything else is a wig, and it's because she refuses to. If she wanted to change her hair halfway through a shoot, she can go and change her hair, because she'll have a wig there, and her wigs are mwah. Cannot tell.
I personally, like I say, it was the right amount of stupid for me at that time. And I know, I mean, we love Zara. We've had Zara on our show, and Zara hated it, and that's cool.
No, I was like, whoa.
That's the thing. I'm not going to stand and argue with someone, because that's her opinion. She's allowed to have that. She's allowed to hate it. And this is a big fact about things, ladies and gentlemen. If there's one part of wisdom I can impart upon you, is that you shouldn't fall out with people that don't have the same opinion as you. Have a conversation. Have a dialogue. Let people put their point across. You put your point across. You don't have to fall out with someone because they don't agree 100% with you. Me and Zara are still on talking terms because I enjoyed this film and she didn't. You know, for me, right amount of silly at the right amount of time. Will I watch it again? Yes, probably. If I'm in a low mood, it will pick me up. I love Will Poulter. I have done since he was a young kid on BBC Three. He's always been called Eyebrows in my house. I didn't know his actual name. He was always called Eyebrows.
He was the kid from We Are the Millers to me.
Even before then, he was on BBC Three, and he did
I've seen
comedy skits, and he was fantastic. And
I've seen the thing. He's absolutely hilarious. I genuinely would have loved to see what his Pennywise would have been.
He, for me, Will Poulter has grown into himself. He is such a charismatic man now.
Yeah.
He could have gone a completely different way.
Yeah.
In the sense of that he could have got egotistical, he could have got very I don't know, but I feel the comedy element to his upbringing and to his
I didn't know he was English.
Catalogue. Yeah. That has helped him stay humble to a degree, because whenever you see him interviewed, like recently there was an interview doing the rounds where James Gandolfini's son Michael was interviewing them. Did you see that for the new movie Warfare, which is an A24 film as well? And I'm actually really intrigued about that film. It's not a comedy, by the way. It's about a bunch of guys that go to Iraq and get stuck in a compound, and it's about their experience within the compound. But James Gandolfini's son Michael interviews them. He's got the worst moustache on you've ever seen, and he's asking some of the cast these ridiculous questions in this press junket, and Will is crying. He's absolutely crying with laughter because I don't know. I presume they've clocked who it is straight away when he comes in, but you can't tell for the first part of the interview.
Yeah.
And obviously they're actors, so but like
professional.
But it's just how he automatically goes back to his comedy roots all the time. He can pull something out the bag that is completely like, and I just think that's a talent that people like him and Paul Rudd have. They are able to keep the comedy going.
Yeah, Paul Rudd definitely has that funny bone, doesn't he? And but he knows timing. He knows when to do it, when not to do it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I've said this before. When he did a podcast for Chris Hardwick, and Hardwick just lost his dad, and he was like, "Hey, welcome to the Dead Dads Club," and it was just such a way to break the ice because they both had just experienced something so traumatic, like so close to each other. And they're both comedians. What do? You got to make the person laugh. You got to make some light of the terrible shit that you're going through.
Because that's the thing. Rudd isn't someone you typically see in a, and I use quote unquote horror movie. The concept is every time a unicorn pops up. I think we've seen this concept in Supernatural. I think we've seen this concept in about most recently you know what, I forced myself to watch that Shazam movie, the second one, not the first one, because there was nothing else on and I'd watched everything that's ever existed on television.
I'd rather put fucking nails in my eyes and watch Zachary Levi, but hey.
Yeah, now I know that. But the film, there was unicorns in the film that had like some unicorns have this weird moment where I haven't seen a unicorn in a single freaking thing. You go watch one thing and then they're everywhere. Yeah. I don't know whether it's just they find me and they've existed in these films, and then all of a sudden I watch a film and there's like 50 unicorns in a film and I'm like, but it's a simple premise. There's no twisties and turnies that I can think of really. Very predictable. But you've got to have your wits about you because it's told from the minute, pretty much the first 10-20 minutes you're told.
You've got to pay attention.
But you don't realise you're being told the whole story. Tia Leone was brilliant in it.
I don't mind a bit of Tia Leone.
Can't stand her in Jurassic Park 3. Ben!
Get that.
Shut up.
I get that.
And Richard E. Grant played egotistical rich man very, very well.
Sorry, I love Richard E. Grant. I just have all the time in the world for that man. He is like, again, he's going through some shit times, but has managed to make he lost his wife very recently, and instead of making it something that's a sad event, he just celebrates that every day, and because of that, he's on TikTok. He does a lot of social media, and because of that, you get some he just gives us the warm and fuzzies. I just want to give him a big hug. Did you see the guy in Lockdown who does the impressions of him, and he does Keira Knightley as well? Them two got together and did a Richard E. Grant off.
Oh, Christ.
But I'm Richard E. Grant, but no, I'm Richard E. Grant. And then they end up just running across a meadow together. Oh, it's just brilliant. I love that man. Oh, I want to watch it because I do like an A24 movie. I get the whole Jenna Ortega thing, but I don't like. But I love Paul Rudd. Who the fuck doesn't love Paul Rudd? He's Ant-Man. He's Ant-Man.
He's not. You can't even compare this character to say like he's a lovable loser like Gary Gruberson. He's not even like that.
Oh my God, he's in Ghostbusters too.
Exactly. There's another level to this character that you've not seen from him before. Like it's not a character that you normally. That would be him. So
that would be interesting because I know Paul Rudd from Romeo and Juliet, Clueless. Yeah, but I also have a movie that's a back pocket movie where I'm like, oh, I just need to feel something. Let's watch The Object of My Affection. Ever seen it, Jennifer Aniston?
I have seen it once. And like, when you go through a phase where there was nothing but rom-coms, no other films were being released.
This was such a different rom-com though, because he plays a gay man, she is a straight woman, she ends up getting pregnant by someone she absolutely hates. They create this like family unit, but she falls in love with him. He doesn't fall in love with her. But it's just, oh, I love it. I absolutely, it's such a different, just a different little spin on a rom-com.
Yeah.
I love it.
I loved him in, I think he was with Jennifer Aniston in this, in Wanderlust as well.
Yeah.
Justin Theroux being the weird hippie dude in the commune.
I love him, man.
Yeah, I just, there's things about Paul Rudd. He's the one person that I'd just like to, you know, when they say there's probably very few people you'd like to sit down and have a chat with in real life. And like, if you could take away the fact that you get stage fright or you get the jitters, if that was not a thing, and you could sit down and have a conversation like we are with someone, Paul Rudd would be someone. I don't know why. I just feel like I'd love to have a chat with him because I feel like he'd be so interesting, and not in like a hyper intellectual, oh, did you know, in a Neil deGrasse Tyson way. Do you know what I mean? Or a Bill Nye the Science Guy kind of way. I feel like he would be, I don't know, fascinating because
I think you could get some banter out of him too. Yeah, he is a bit of an enigma, isn't he?
Yeah, because he plays the lovable love interest, the comedic love interest, brother love interest, clueless. I don't know. He's always that guy.
Yeah.
Films, and it's like,
and then he came Ant-Man.
Yeah, I mean, but then he was still, oh, gone blank on a name.
Who we thinking
Oh
of?
my God, Wasp.
Oh yeah, her, yeah, Evangeline Lilly, yeah.
Evangeline Lilly, yeah. Sorry, went completely blank on her name then. He was still the object. He was still trying to get her to be the lovable person. Do you know what I mean? There was still that.
Oh my God, you've ruined Paul Rudd for us. No, but you are right.
He, don't get me wrong. Yes, he played a dad in Ant-Man and Quantumania with Peanut. Peanut was also the nickname I've called my nephew since he was in my sister's womb. So when it came out and he referred to her as Peanut all the time, that kid that played Peanut in the first movie, I loved her. She was fantastic. And then when it got to the 5 years later and she aged by 20 years, I was very confused. And then they changed Cassie to a completely different kid who I think ended up being the bird. I don't know.
Frankenstein.
That's the one. It just got very.
That film's terrible.
I was very confused.
The film is so bad.
Or at least Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That's Robin Williams' daughter directed that, didn't she? Zelda
Williams. Yeah. It's Diablo Cody.
And it's Sprouse, isn't it? It's not Brussels sprouts, it's Cole.
It's Cole, yeah. Aesthetically, it's amazing. It's beautiful. Like, can't take away the costume design, you can't take away the makeup. I just didn't feel anything from it. I was like, I should be loving this. But not a goddamn thing. I was like, okay. I watched The Witch the other day for the first time ever.
Did you have the weight of 1,000 suns on your shoulders?
No.
It is a very suffocating film. I
found it more breathable than Nosferatu.
Right.
I mean, it's got Ralph Vincent and I'm gonna love it. But I also was so intrigued. And if you know me, you know I love a goat. Goats are my favorite things in the world. I absolutely love them. I want a Black Phillip. I want a Black Billy Goat. I mean, I don't want that one because apparently it was really violent. But I want a Black Billy Goat.
There's something about, obviously, when I'm not just talking about Robert Eggers movies, but the Witch is so. You think Nosferatu's slow? No, The Witch is exceptionally slow to the point of where you feel like time has stopped and you've entered a big, like some sort of
a bit of a hole.
And you don't know how long you've been in it, but you just know you're aware that you're in it, and that doesn't mean it's bad.
No,
it just means that
it was a bit consuming. I'll give it that. I think again because I love the main actress in it, and I can't think of her name. Joy. I absolutely love her. I have such a thing for her. The woman who. Yeah. Oh. She was in Peaky Blinders too. Fucking class in that. But yeah, I love the mom. Who plays? She just does crazy fucking brilliantly. She's in Game of Thrones. She plays Catelyn's sister, who I can't think of the top of my head right now.
Yeah.
yeah, she does crazy so fucking good. And then Ralph Vincent, amazing. And it was just, I'm not lying. When the whole baby scene, I nearly walked out the room. Like I was like, I do want to watch this, but I don't. I know I don't want to be here right now for this.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to leave.
I think, like I say, there is just this fine balance with the brand new movies that are coming out this year so far. We're only in April, and we've seen The Monkey, we've seen Nosferatu, we've seen Death of a Unicorn. I can't think of any other horrors that have really come out that have stayed on my.
There is a fair few, but it's not like there are some big numbers coming out this year.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I said this beginning of the year, this is the year of the franchise.
Yeah.
Franchise is coming back.
Yeah, I've seen I'm not looking forward to that sort of stuff. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Nosferatu did not live up to my expectation for a new movie.
It's not what honestly, we were so buzzed for this. Like but we thought this was like the kicking point of it, and that first episode left us fucking flat.
Visually stunning, beautiful storytelling, fantastic acting, and I'm not taking a single damn thing away from the movie.
No.
I just was not enamored by it. No. And it's as simple as that. The Monkey was a breath of fresh air for me because I'm not a fan of Theo James.
Nope, me neither. I can only ever picture him from the In-Betweeners movie, and he makes me sick just thinking of that movie. But he really, I changed. Like, I changed my opinion on him.
He's good in The Gentleman.
Something I still haven't watched yet, and I love the movie.
No, it's not The Gentleman.
It is The Gentleman.
The TV series, The Gentleman.
It's The Gentleman. Yeah. I know what you meant.
Yeah, he's good in that. And he was in Divergent, was it as well? The Divergent series.
Yeah. Tyler Shirt.
Yeah. Shannon Woodley.
Yeah.
I've never really. But yeah, in Monkey, he was actually really
so good.
And then obviously Death of a Unicorn, so bonkers, so stupid, so what I needed right now for me. You know, call it a palate cleanser for horror, because it's out of nowhere. It doesn't connect to absolutely a single goddamn thing. You have to sit there and think to yourself, oh, have I watched this before I've gone into this? This is done by a certain person, so you know it's got to have connotations. Is there Easter eggs in it? Is there this and that? You know, all
this is why I love when we do 80s horror, because it's so fucking senseless. Like there's no greater picture, there's no bigger franchise, there's no universe, anything that I have to look into. I can just purely enjoy this like crap fest that's going on in front of my eyes. Speaking of crap fest, Saw movie has been cancelled.
Yes, I did see that. I was not surprised, I've got to be honest, because I don't think Tobin is overly enthusiastic about it. And I'm not saying that's the reason. Tobin has got to a point now where he doesn't even want to do conventions anymore.
You blame him?
No, I don't.
He's
and then you've got Shawnee, who's coming up to 60 now. And I don't mean that.
What?
Yeah, Shawnee Smith is in her mid to late 50s.
She looked phenomenal last year then.
Yeah, and do you know who I found out is one of her best, like, really good friends? Benji from Skindred. And I was like, what world are we living in? That's why she played the song when she came out. She had Skindred playing. Nobody gets out alive.
Yeah.
Absolutely
love. I've seen them live.
I love Skindred. I love Benji. And a bit of a shout out to Emily Boo, who actually interviewed Benji once and asked him if he wanted to get attacked by 1,000 ducks or one large duck, and his face was a picture. Did the whole interview in his kitchen, and it was just brilliant. I just think the Newport helicopter is a fantastic idea. But that's my love for Skindred, and she's getting on a bit. No disrespect. But she's up, and then obviously Tobin's probably got another 20 years on her. He's got to be in his 80s.
Has to, and don't get wrong.
Mandalores as batshit as they fucking come. So
yeah, like Saw 10. I love the direction that we're taking the Saw franchise from Jigsaw onwards. I liked that. I also like the Saw, the bit one with Chris Rock. I really enjoyed that. Like just kind of like,
Yeah,
yeah, I really enjoy just taking like a bit of Saw and putting it into a different story with different people. Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But Saw 10, I felt like it was these. I could see where they could go from it, but I felt like if that was it, that's a swan song. Let him just go out on that.
yeah,
He had a whole film that was his.
yeah.
Let that be that. But if you want to continue, I can see how you were going to do it based on Saw 10.
You can't keep doing a prequel, a midquel, a half-quel
You
when
can't.
the
The
actors,
story will get confusing.
but not just that, when the actors have got to an age of which they can't
Yeah.
be placed in that timeline at that point. And that's not me saying, oh, actors shouldn't get older, because don't be fucking daft. That's biology. We all get old. We can't help it. Things happen.
What?
You know, it is what it is. But when you're turning a cap round, as we all famously well know, on Tobin Bell and pretending he's 20 years younger than he is.
Done.
You know, the Steve Buscemi sketch where I'm down with the kids, what's hanging with the kids, and he's got the skateboard over his shoulder and the cap on. You know,
Yeah.
It gets to a point. Stop it. Stop it. Just
let 10's enough. To be honest, the first one was enough because it's a masterpiece. But 10's enough.
I liked 10. I liked 10 because 10 was
it was
because
him
of the perspective it was
through.
from.
Yeah.
I liked Jigsaw because it was a now.
I love Jigsaw. Jigsaw's probably my favorite. Besides 1, Jigsaw's probably my favorite.
I liked 1 because it was unlike anything you'd ever seen at that point in horror. 2 was 2 Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah, I enjoyed 2 because
and Diz from Starship Troopers, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it was a case of like it was the era of twists.
Yeah.
And that had a really good twist. And I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Was 2 where Chester Bennington was stuck to the interior of the car? No, I think that was about 6 or 7, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's moving along a bit, yeah.
Costas Mandalore territory when we're going into...
Yeah, two's the house. Shawnee's in it.
The pit, and that's where you're
the needles, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's probably where it is for me, 1 and 2. I loved the scene with Chester in it, and then for whatever movie that was in, and then obviously we go on to Jigsaw and we go on to 10, and they're probably where I comfortably live for the movie.
I really enjoyed 10. I thought it was so nice just to have Tobin in from start to finish, and it be
getting back on the people that put him where he is now.
Yeah,
and to still see. This was the thing, they made him human, because
yes, very much so.
Even though I don't know how this has turned into a Saw podcast, but never mind.
We've just gone off on one. We ended Eight-Legged Freaks ages ago.
The thing about this was that John Kramer's whole thing was always been about people making the choices. The choices they made led them to be where they are now, and they can make a choice to get out of it. He never killed them. He never put any, he never shot them. He never stabbed them. He never physically did any of that. And he only did it to the people that he felt had created a circumstance in which has led them to be there, made the choices to get them to be there. So when that kid was getting drowned in that trap, and
that was awful.
He was sacrificing himself to make sure that kid would survive. But then the kid was like, no, he was nice to me. I can see he's struggling. I'm going to take it for a little while. And there was this relationship between the two, even though they didn't speak the same language either.
No, they didn't. They had like this bond was like created in that moment. It was fantastic. One of my this is how much I love Jigsaw, because he really, when you think of these victims and you kind of like think they might have a little bit of a redeeming thing in them, because they've all done some really shitty stuff. There's nothing one redeeming quality about the female in Jigsaw who killed that kid. She should have died. She should have died right at the beginning. She blamed her husband.
Oh, yeah.
Should have died right at the beginning. Bullet through the head. What she did was it's beyond evil.
That's
She killed that kid. She
rolled over on him and suffocated him.
No.
She made her husband think that that's what he did.
She put it into her husband's head, and he got arrested. And then because of what he thought he had done, he ended up killing himself.
Yeah.
She should have been
smothered
shot.
the baby, didn't she?
She smothered it. Yeah. She wanted to stop him cry. Yeah. She deserved to die.
It's the backstories. It's the fact that he takes the time. But this was his swan song, and I do think you're right. I think where it is now is the right place to end it, because he clears up the people that.
Yeah, his ties are all tied. His ties are all tied, and it's lovely the scene at the end where him the kid Shawnee and him are walking out, and it's like, there you go. That's just a perfect ending. Leave it there. Don't get us wrong. Because of how excited I was for Jigsaw going forward, I've loved what's taking place. I'm like, yeah, I'm good for more, but yeah, they cancelled it. No more Jigsaw. Right, let's wrap this bad boy up. That did go on a bit of a thing, didn't it?
Well, we wouldn't be us if we didn't have a tangent. Yeah. And we didn't do it mid-show this time. We waited to the end, Yeah. Which is unlike us. Normally you
exactly.
Hey,
there's no fucking rules to say that we have to talk about the whole film at the start to finish and then end it. There's no rules. I make the rules.
Well, I'll tell you who we'll ask. And dinner Mantel.
And dinner Mantel.
We'll ask her and see what she thinks.
I don't even know how we got on to fucking John Travolta before we came on. It literally was just about to press the button and we both were going, Adina Menzel.
Have you watched The Fanatic yet? Have you done it? Have you done it? And this is an open-ended question to everybody that listens.
No,
have you done it?
No, please. I haven't. I will do it though.
Homework for this week, right?
Fanatic.
And Mike, I'm talking to you too. You may well please review this in the horror asylum. The Fanatic with John Travolta, Devon Sawa, please, directed by Fred Durst. please go watch that and give me an honest review. Homework for this week. This time next week, I would like to say I'd like to have a discussion somewhat about it at some point with somebody, because I think I have hallucinated.
Okay, it's a bank holiday weekend here in the UK, so yeah, I will put it on the list. I don't know what else I've got to watch this week, but I will put it on the list.
It's easily found.
Is Fred Durst just standing outside my house going, here, I heard you want to watch it.
Yeah, he'll appear magically in your room one day and go, ta-da! How much do you want for it? It's free. I just want people to
take it. Just take it. Oh gosh. Well,
and as soon as he hands it to you, he disappears again into the ether.
He did it all for the nookie. That sounds so wrong.
It was the hot flavored water that, did it.
Starfish. I'm just saying Limp Bizkit words now.
Yeah. Keep rolling.
Rolling. Oh, right. You can find us if you want to, every Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning. The episode hits Nerdy Up North YouTube channel. However, if you don't really want to watch us, you can listen to us. We are available later on in the day. If you search Monsters Up North podcast from anywhere you get your podcast from, you'll find us around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because that's when I drop it. The links for Bleeding Marvelous, Monsters Up North, and Nerdy Up North are where, Dan?
Down there.
Down there. With her trademark branded nails. I actually have nails, but they're my nails, and they're all different sizes. Yeah, they are my nails.
I need to put my glasses on.
Yeah, they're there, I'm telling you. Yeah, so links. Next week is
The Rule of Jenny Penn.
The Rule of Jenny Penn, and this has been somewhat eight-legged freaks.
75%.
Yeah, we talked about some spiders. I told you there were some spiders, and we talked about some spiders. Oh, there's nothing else left to say. Say goodbye, Dan.
Just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean people aren't following me. Bye!
It's too spooky, everyone.